Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the absolute foundation of every successful venture out there: business finance management. Whether you're scaling a fast-moving tech startup or maybe expanding a brick-and-mortar retail footprint, mastering these fundamentals is exactly what separates the long-term industry disruptors from the companies that just quietly disappear.
You know, it's something you see all the time. Why do innovative, completely market-disrupting ideas frequently just fail, while seemingly average businesses wildly succeed? Well, it rarely comes down to the product itself, and it's almost never about how clever the marketing campaign is. The true differentiator is usually hidden away in the back office. It's about how ruthlessly and efficiently they manage their capital. Think of excellent financial management as an invisible moat protecting the entire business.
So here is our quick roadmap for today. We're going to cover: number 1, the secret to survival; 2, revenue versus profit; 3, understanding cash flow; 4, types of business expenses; and finally, number 5, why financial planning matters.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1, the secret to survival: demystifying business finance.
Basically, business finance is just the money a business uses to start, operate, and grow. But it's so much more than just a static pool of funds you use to buy equipment or pay salaries, right? It's really about the velocity of capital. It's understanding how efficiently a single dollar moves through your organization to generate another dollar. Even the most brilliant, absolutely world-changing ideas require a meticulously engineered financial foundation. Without it, you just can't support the friction of entering a new market or the immense pressure of scaling your operations.
Moving right along to Section 2, revenue versus profit, clearing up the confusion. Now, this is a critical trap for so many early-stage companies. They end up chasing revenue at the direct expense of profit. So, revenue is all the money a business receives from its sales. It's the total gross cash just coming in the door. Profit, on the other hand, is what actually remains after all your expenses, your taxes, and your operational costs have been fully paid out. We see this all the time: hyper-growth startups boasting these massive top-line revenue numbers, yet they are actively burning through cash and losing literally millions each quarter. That's because revenue dictates the sheer size of your business, sure, but profit dictates the underlying health of your business.
Let's ground this with a real example. Consider a business generating $1,000 in top-line revenue. To secure those sales, they had to spend $700 on materials, labor, and operational overhead. So that remaining $300, that is the actual profit. That's the retained capital that dictates whether the business can actually weather an economic downturn, aggressively invest in R&D, or ultimately reward its founders and investors. Without fiercely guarding that profit margin, honestly, the sheer volume of your sales is entirely meaningless.
Let's transition over to Section 3, understanding cash flow, the movement of money.
Cash flow is exactly what it sounds like: the movement of money into and out of a business. And while realizing a profit is definitely the ultimate goal at the end of the year, cash flow is the actual oxygen your business needs to survive today. Here's a pretty sobering fact for you: a staggering number of businesses that go bankrupt are actually completely profitable on paper. Crazy, right? They didn't fail because their product was bad or because their margins were flawed. They failed because of poor cash flow timing. They simply ran out of operational oxygen before they could cross the finish line.
So positive cash flow means you have more liquidity currently coming in than going out, which gives you a reliable operational cushion. Negative cash flow means your immediate expenses are higher than your incoming cash. Think about a classic timing mismatch. Imagine you land this massive corporate client, but they demand net 90 payment terms. That means they aren't going to pay your invoice for 3 full months. Meanwhile, you have bi-weekly payroll and monthly server costs demanding immediate cash right now. If you haven't managed your cash flow to successfully bridge that 90-day gap, your totally profitable business will face insolvency before that massive check ever even arrives.
Let's see how this builds in Section 4, types of business expenses, categorizing the chaos.
Categorizing your business costs is how you predict and control your financial future. We basically look at 3 primary buckets here. First, you have fixed expenses. Think commercial rent or long-term software subscriptions. These offer stability because they don't generally fluctuate month to month. Then you have variable expenses, like raw materials or shipping fees. These scale directly alongside your production volume. And then, of course, there are unexpected expenses: sudden supply chain disruptions, emergency equipment repairs, you name it. Understanding how these categories interact is absolutely vital,
because failing to anticipate and reserve cash for unexpected shocks usually forces leaders to frantically slash their fixed or variable budgets, and that triggers a cascade of operational failures that ultimately degrades the core product.
Bringing it all together now, Section 5, Why Financial Planning Matters, the Strategy for Success.
The crucial point here is that implementing a robust financial plan unlocks 4 totally interconnected operational advantages. By deliberately controlling your spending, you automatically create the internal leverage required to increase your profits. And that increased profit margin is exactly what allows you to build significant cash reserves to prepare for emergencies. Once you have those reserves firmly in place, well then you are perfectly positioned to grow sustainably, expanding your market share methodically without taking on toxic debt. Each step directly feeds the next, continuously fortifying your entire operational structure.
I love this quote. Business finance is not about complicated mathematics. It is such a profoundly empowering truth for any leader, manager, or entrepreneur. You literally do not need a background in advanced calculus or investment banking to run a highly profitable organization. Strategic finance is fundamentally about extreme organizational discipline. It's simply about rigorously tracking your revenue streams, intimately understanding your burn rate, and decisively managing your cash runway.
So the final question you really have to ask yourself is this. Do you have a strong financial foundation for your business success? Look, great ideas and sheer willpower can absolutely start companies, but disciplined financial management is what keeps them alive. Tomorrow, take a hard look at your own cash flow velocity and your true profit margins. Because if you aren't actively tracking and optimizing those numbers, you have to ask yourself, are you building a resilient, scalable business, or are you just funding a very expensive hobby? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep analyzing and keep growing.